Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I think that's the order of the words for this tag. I know it's technically not mid-year anymore. It's basically almost September, but you know, sometimes you're late to doing tags that you want to do, and you just gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Anyway, let's just get into the questions. Number 1, best book that you've read so far in 2016. This will come as no surprise to anyone, but I'm gonna go with Night Film by Marisha Pessl. So for those of you who don't know, Night Film centers around this guy named Scott, who's an investigative journalist. He kind of has this long history with this really enigmatic film director named Stanislaus Cordova, and in the beginning of the book, Cordova's daughter Ashley has been found dead, and they think it's a suicide. But Scott does not think it's a suicide, so he wants to investigate. And that's basically the premise of the book. It's really cool because it's told in mixed media, and it's just such a good book. It honestly became one of my all-time favorite books, and it's just so good. Can I say so good that many times in a video? Because I just did. If you need more convincing, I will link my video down below entitled Why You Should Read Night Film, because I think everyone should read Night Film. And it's so good. See? I said so good again. Number 2, best sequel you've read so far in 2016. This will also not surprise anyone, but I'm gonna go with Layer of Dreams by Libba Bray. If any of you know me, you know that last year I was obsessed with The Diviners by Libba Bray. It's just such a good series. It is set in 1920s New York City, and it is just so good. I keep saying so good, I can't stop. Just so many layers and things and characters, and it's so good. And the first book is basically like a murder mystery, and it's just like so good and kind of scary, and like you should read it, and especially like in October when you want to be like creeped out. And the second one, Layer of Dreams, the one that I'm supposed to be talking about right now in this tag, it centers around a different element, ghost thingy. I'm doing a really bad job talking about this book. If you want to know more about Layer of Dreams, I suggest watching my July wrap-up because I did a better job talking about it there. Number 3, a new release you want to read but you haven't yet. For this, I'm gonna go with Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire. A lot of people I know have been reading this recently and loving it. Basically, it centers around these children who have all had like fantastical experiences. Like, I don't know, I guess the only way I could describe it is like they've gone to Narnia, or they've gone to Hogwarts, or they've gone to these magical realms, and then they've since come back and they're just like not the same, and like living in the real world is just like not satisfactory, and so they all go to this boarding school. It just sounds really interesting. It also sounds like a book that I wouldn't normally reach for. Number 4, most anticipated release for the rest of the year, and I'm gonna go with Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. And you know, listen, I haven't even finished the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I've only read the first book and like half of the second, but Laini Taylor is a very good author, and I don't really remember what Strange the Dreamer is about, but I remember I read like a 2-sentence blurb, and it sounds really interesting. Number 5, biggest disappointment. For this, I'm gonna go with My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Morgan. Basically, it centers around this teenager named Azelle, and she is depressed. And so she is considering suicide, and she goes on this message board to find a suicide partner, and she finds this boy that lives like a town or two over, and so they make a pact to commit suicide together. In the beginning, I thought this was a really interesting portrayal of depression. I thought everything Azelle was thinking seemed realistic. To my knowledge, I'm not an expert, but I felt it was a good depiction. I can't really tell you where the book goes because that would spoil it, but the ending made me so angry and just so like offended. To me, it just felt like not an honest depiction and not a good message to send to people about depression. And to my knowledge, that's not how it all works, and I can't talk about this book anymore because it makes me mad. Number 6 is your biggest surprise. And for me, that would be A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. This surprised me because I never knew that I would really enjoy a modern classic. Basically, A Clockwork Orange is a dystopian novel that was published in the 1960s, and it centers around this young boy named Alex and his friends, and they're basically in a gang, and at night, law enforcement doesn't really do its job properly, so like young people just go out and like do really bad stuff. And it's a really dark novel that's sort of a commentary on like morality and where morality comes from, and if you can force morality on people or if it has to be their like free will and their choice. And Alex ends up being caught for a crime that he commits and has to go get reformed, and it's like this whole thing. And it's really, really interesting. If you want, you can watch my live show that I did with Anais from Clockwork Orange and Kirsten from Kirsten Reads, where we talked about the book. Number 7, favorite new author. And for me, of course, I'm gonna go with Marisha Pessl. She has another book that I haven't read yet, but as you know from me talking earlier, I loved Night Film so much that I want to read anything and everything that that woman has written. Also, she is so beautiful. It's like unfair. I'm like, you can't be this beautiful and also write that good. Like, that's just not fair. Like, let the talents and the beauty be spread around. Number 8 is newest fictional crush. And to be honest, I don't think I've been having the best reading year. Like, I've been talking about these few books that I did like, but overall, I've been reading a lot of duds. And so I'm just like, where are my bays at? Because I don't have any new bays this year. And it's a little upsetting because I like having fictional boyfriends. I'm a really pathetic fangirl, and I'm sorry. But I'm like kind of not sorry about it. Number 9 is your newest favorite character, and for this I'm gonna go with the cast of characters from the Raven Boys. I've only read the first book. That is such an atmospheric and just like intoxicating reading experience, and I just really love the characters. Like, I'm not completely in love with them yet, but I know if I finally get around to finishing the series that I'll probably be obsessed with them. Number 10 is a book that made you cry, and for this I'm gonna go with Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. I just cried while reading this, not because it was that sad, but just because like it was so relatable to me, because it's about this guy in the 90s who just like doesn't know what he's doing with his life, and he works at this news office at night, and he like reads the emails of the employees to make sure they're not doing anything bad, and he basically falls in love with this woman, and he's just like at this standstill in his life in his 20s where he's just like, what am I doing? And I related so much that I cried. Number 11 is a book that made you happy, and for that I'm gonna have to go with rereading the first 2 Harry Potter books, because Harry Potter always makes me happy. It's just really nice to like revisit that world and just be like, my precious little babies, and just the perfection that is Harry Potter. And then number 12 is the most beautiful book that you've gotten this year, and I'm gonna have to go with Lady Midnight. I bought this from the UK, and I didn't really look into the exchange rates, and this book ended up being a little over $40, so it's very expensive, but it's very beautiful, as you can see. Little Vanna White for you. And number 13 is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And for this, I'm just gonna go with any book by Victoria Schwab. And the last question is your favorite book community member. So for blogger, I don't read very many blogs, but Liz from Liz Loves Literature, she does have a channel, has recently started a blog called Bitchy Fantasy, and she just has this way of like reflecting on what she's read or watched or whatever, and being articulate, but also just being so sarcastic and funny. And then for booktubers, I'm gonna go with 2. I'm gonna go with Divya from Divya Reads and Lily from Lily C Reads. Divya is so funny. When I watch her videos, I wish I was her. And she often makes very creative videos, like discussion videos, like talking about YA but being very funny, or sometimes she even does like skit videos. And then Lily, also very funny. As you can see, I really appreciate humor. She recently made a comeback to BookTube because she had left for a while. She privated all her videos from before, and I'm still bitter about it because they are very funny. This is me calling you out, Lily. You need to unprivate those videos, okay? Sorry, that got a little threatening. Anyway, Lily's really great. I love her so much. Lastly, for the Bookstagrammer, I'm gonna go with Kat from Paperback Dreams. Kat is, number 1 of the most adorable humans I've ever met. I met her at BookCon. Her photos are so good. Also, she hoops, and her hooping skills are unreal. But that's all the questions for this tag. I would tag people in the description, but honestly, it's really not mid-year anymore, so it might be a little irrelevant. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. You're all beautiful. Have a nice day. I'm gonna go for it, so you're gonna be in the background.
Oh my god, wait!
Look, a dog. Reads by what? I messed that up.